Hello and welcome to Coffee Shop Chaos, hosted by Fantasy Soup. I'm Jesse, an artist for Fantasy Soup. With me is Tony, the creator of Fantasy Soup, and we are here to discuss all flavors of nerd stuff.
Hey,
Joining us today are Jacob and Tim from Real Life. Say hello.
Absolutely traumatic. I can't believe your life's a thing.
Hi, I'm a real person.
Cool. So, Tony, you want to get us started on today's topics?
Yes, I want to talk about something that I found to be interesting in the Magic community lately, and that is Aftermath, the Magic set that's coming out, and the one that the Pinkertons rated A Poor Man's House about.
Yeah.
I mean, the subject entirely is kind of complex. I don't think it's really going to go over too much, except for, maybe who the Pinkertons are, what Magic the Gathering is like, and how it kind of routes into our life. Jake, what did you want to talk about in this podcast?
Oh, I'm talking about the very popular thing of airsoft, also known as FPS LARPing, and then how chaotic that is, and what a giant money hole it is.
I get that. Jesse, your topic today.
I'm talking about card prices and how they've been shifting lately,
Ooh,
and whether or not it's good or bad.
I like it. And Tim, what's your subject today?
Pokemon Go.
I'm interested.
Okay.
You've got me hooked. And then
Pokemon go to the polls.
and then our overall subject for this will be our recent con experience and con expectations from just a basic con, things you want to do and stuff you want to have fun with when you go to a con. Since I will take the lead today, I want to talk about Aftermath, the Pinkertons. Do you guys know who the Pinkertons are?
Yes.
The
Yes. And I know now more than anything about them, thanks to the usage of them
Okay.
to get back Magic cards.
Yeah.
Music is way louder than us, evidently.
Yeah, I dropped the music down just because I thought it would be nice during the intro, but while we're talking, we kind of just jam with our words.
All right.
But yeah, overall, how do you guys feel about the community of Magic just kind of like looking at the company that we all buy a product from, almost going overboard on it? I get releasing a product is a bad thing, maybe send a PR person, contact the YouTuber, the person who's trying to get the product out there in the world, but then you kind of like take a company that's actively known as a villain and you go, hey, we're gonna go to your house, we're gonna kick in your door, we're gonna threaten you, or let's say he wasn't threatened, just harass this person who got a product a little too early, which happens. I mean, it happens in Warhammer, and Warhammer goes, oh, cool, nice paint job. Most companies, when a product is released way too early, will not just hire I don't want to say extremist, but an extreme historical organization that is known for almost villainy.
Yeah. Regardless of how he came by the Magic cards, whether or not he was supposed to get them or not, or whatever, sending an agency to collect them kind of messed up.
When I saw it, it more so reinforced the idea that we were living in a true cyberpunk kind of idea where it's just a privatized police force going to get
A
some
dystopia.
a dystopia, but like even more so the privatized police force going to like just
Collect
on behalf of
rectangles with fancy printing on them
yeah.
that mean nothing.
So part of me is like, oh, this like it's like a cyberpunk thing, they're like a SWAT team. But then again, part of me, because they're from the 1850s and known as Union Busters, also pictures them in 10-gallon hats with gun belts, being like, "Hey, you got some cards in there." So
hey, we're coming for your cardboard and all your children. You owe us 13 quid in this payment method that we're looking for.
Yeah.
14 schmeckles.
Yeah, but it's probably a bunch of like ex-military guys, probably conceal and carry, But
Taking
even
the
then,
job way too seriously.
yeah, and they have to be from that state to have a concealed carry. And if they don't, and they go in there like armed against a civilian, I would get the cops involved. Oh, how did you end up with these product? I bought them. Cool. Enough said. Moving on. Why are you here? Oh, we're here to get that product back. It's not supposed to be on in the public hands yet. Oh, when is it supposed to be in the public hands? Next week.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so the question I have is Wizards refunding that customer for any damages caused?
So
No, they sent the Pinkertons. Of course, they're not going to reimburse him for
All
anything.
right, then we have a very easy lawsuit here.
So they did reimburse him. They are looking to give him product or yada yada. The point is, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro took looked at the D&D community and was like, we got to get money from you right now. We're jacking up prices. We're no longer doing print books. We're taking all your money. And any creator that's ever gonna make product, we're gonna beat the hell out of you. And I think I covered that in the first episode.
Yeah.
And then every D&D person was like, you know what game taught us how to deal with villains? Oh, that was D&D. Good thing you're a villain, and we know how to take you down. We just won't give you money.
Yep.
And then Magic players were kind of like cucked, and they were like, this is the only thing we could do except buy our product. But then they started going after proxy websites and things like that. This is just kind of an escalation of Wizards of the Coast Hasbro just going off.
It's so funny to watch. Not like haha funny, but well, there is a bit of haha funny, but it's just like watching this extremity or like this extreme response from him and being like, haha, yeah, this is gonna keep happening. This is now a reasonable response to this, right?
No, it's not. It's just it's this downward spiral, which until new management, new leadership of the company happens, it's just going to continue.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to change because they're a toy company. Hasbro is, I think it's the biggest toy company in the world. They get profit from Wizards of the Coast. They took this in such an extreme manner for a game that you can print. And the thing is there's more card games coming out, but Wizards has it is the premier card game on the planet. Magic the Gathering is the best card game because it's gone around, but the problem is at what point in time do they stop planting trees and start leveling forests? And they've already bulldozed so many trees, they don't have good faith anymore. If their products aren't good, if they don't start doing Pro Tour, if they don't start like getting out there and helping the community more, it's just downhill. And I love Magic the Gathering. It's a fun game. I have friends that play it. I lose a lot of most of the games I play, but I enjoy the interactions I get from it. I've made friends across the country that play Magic the Gathering, and this is another thing that they're just trying to kill.
Squeeze until it's got nothing left to give.
Yeah.
Beat the horse. Beat the dead horse.
I mean,
Hasbro.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was say Hasbro is the second largest toy company in the world, behind only Mattel, which is Mattel is sitting at $11.95 billion of market capital. Hasbro at $6.5 billion.
So they definitely needed to send the Pinkertons to recover 15 cardboard rectangles from a person who got them too soon.
There's 6 cards a pack. There was 12 packs. It was 52 cards.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. 52 cardboard rectangles he got too early.
From a 48 card set, Jesse. That's the thing you're missing. He could have had all the cards there if they actually, wanted everybody to have all the cards.
Yeah,
but
the point is it was overreaction by every definition.
Yep.
So let's take this point and let's look at how it's actually affecting the real world. Jesse, tell us about the secondary market.
The prices are going in weird directions lately. I've spent a lot of time on Archidect, going over deck lists I've built, trying to come up with new ones. And a few months ago, I built a deck that wound up totaling about $1,000. which is a lot of money, and I'm not buying the cards because they're super expensive. And then I look at it like 2 weeks ago. I look at that deck again, and I'm like, okay, I want to take a look at this again. It dropped to $600, so that means it lost the cards within it without changing anything. Lost $400 in total value.
It lost 40% of its value.
Yeah, over however many month period. But then I'll go like it happened across all the decks that I was building. They were all like the build a bomb deck that I was building, which is just Yatora flinging giant creatures at people, was probably 300 when I built it. Now it's like $150.
So, tell me, were the cards in the set newer cards or older cards?
They were a lot of them were older, honestly. In the uh one that was $1,000, I had like the newest cards were from probably Kawagama. Where the commander was from Kawagama. Most of the newer cards were Kawagama, but everything else was like older cards than that. Like Avacyn was in there, and she dropped. She was 80. I think she went down to 40 or something.
So I gotta ask you, if older cards are dropping in price, that means people who have been playing the game a lot longer are dropping the game, or people who are speculating on the market are probably trying to get out.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The commander, who was I think 40 cents. It was Ishin Two Heavens is One. He was 40 cents for his alt art when I bought it. Like they basically just gave me the card.
Yeah.
I bought it.
So my next
He's
question.
now like $2.
So my question here is, how does that work with our play group?
I don't think it affects us necessarily.
Well, I mean, like, let's say Jake's budget deck ideas. Does that make his budget decks more accessible? Does that allow us to get into the market and get cards that we've always wanted? I mean, if they keep reprinting things and prices just keep dropping, at what point in time does Magic become a $40 game? You could buy any good deck that you used to look at for $40 and get into a competitive match. Does that make it good? I feel like it makes it great because it means that, like, you guys look at a card like my cards collection, you're like, oh, it's a lot of money. He spent a lot of money. I bought my cards over time, but that means you guys can get those accessible cards now. That makes me happy as a player. It means my play group can step up their power level, or even downgrade their power level depending on how they want to build their deck. But it allows more entrance into the market. The only problem I see with it is that if there's no money behind Magic, how are stores making money?
Yeah, and that's gonna be evident in the lack of product being restocked, which I think we've seen recently at our local game shops. They're not restocking at all, and I don't know if that's on a personnel level. They're just not as up to date with it as they could be. They don't have enough people to keep restocking the card like sleeves to show what they have or sort the cards, or if they're just not getting product in because they aren't making enough money off it to order it in.
Yeah, or people aren't selling cards because they don't think that they think these cards will go back up in value, so they're holding on to their product.
Or they don't think the cards are going to be worth anything, so they don't bother selling them.
Yeah, Jake, your decks, they're usually budget runs. Is this a good thing for you?
So, like, don't get me wrong, the idea of more accessible Magic is great. However, I see it more as it is okay, hang on, let me rephrase this.
No, take your time.
You're getting people excited for new sets, stuff like that. I wasn't too excited for Aftermath, but like March of the Machine, stuff like that, I was looking forward to because of the new mechanics.
And
so
yeah,
especially the Phyrexians, of course. But so like there is drive with that, but I feel that Hasbro, or Wizards of the Coast more specifically, is looking to distance itself from card shops, stuff like that. So they don't care about driving down prices in that way. They care more about basically giving to Amazon or Walmart or whoever can just ship them right from a facility to the customer. They give into their hands.
Oh yeah, they don't care about the second. They're starting to care more about the primary market than the secondary market.
Right. So they don't truly care what the value
Agreed.
per pack of boosters is.
So
They just care
let
that
me
people
tell you
buy
the
them.
official statement on Wizards of the Coast. They don't acknowledge the secondary market as a thing. The problem with that is Secret Layers. Secret Layers was their acknowledgement of the secondary market because they sold cards at the MSRP for the card or one of the cards in the bundle of the Secret Layer. That was their way of getting into the secondary market. They
Yeah.
they make money on products sold from a secondary market. On Secret Layers or hard product. That is correct. But they have been printing classic cards for Commander. So this is my thought process in Commander. Commander is a phenomenal format, but Standard was the trees that they used to plant. If they make everything Commander and Commander requires power, at what point in time do you hit a wall where you print every key part of Commander that used to be worth something? And then why would someone have the incentive to get into Magic, or someone who's been playing Magic for a long time, like look at the 30th edition, to hold the value of the market up? The secondary market allows Magic and stores to exist. And I like game stores, I like secondary marketplaces, but it's kind of looks like they're trying to kill it. But the moment you kill it, then you don't have people to buy your product. And then if you don't have people to buy your product, you don't have product, and then you lose money.
Part of me wonders
Right.
if he is right about that. Sorry to butt into him, but the part of me wonders if uh Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro maybe has some holdings in like larger uh card shops.
Like Star
Just
City
that,
games.
yes, like specifically Star City Games. Looking at you, 1 of 1 for was it Obosh? The first 1 of 1 card pulled was from.
It was actually the monkey, not Obosh.
Oh, right, it was Ragavan. I forgot it was Ragavan.
They got the #1 marked Ragavan.
Yes, they got it.
Oh
They got it
God.
before the set even came out. Tim,
Yeah,
what were you going to talk about?
Just the acknowledgement that like the only real way that people do kind of just pinking back in, I guess. The only way new people get into this type of game is either through friends trying to get them to play, or if you are a person who goes to gaming shops and you might see it and be like, oh, that looks cool, and maybe get into it then. I don't know how many millions of times I've gone into a Target, passed by like Magic cards, and just like, okay.
I mean, your
Whatever.
whole life, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing. Like, whole life,
Like,
we all went by, and then Rodriguez got me into it. And then
Jesse got me into it.
and Rodriguez got Jake into it, and then I built a deck for Tim and got him into it. And
So in
Tony
other
was
words,
already into it and just joined it.
I've been playing Magic since I was like 4.
So yeah, it's like
but like
Tim
for
was saying.
for newer generations that had a different variety of games to grow up on, like card games to grow up on, like Yu-Gi-Oh, the Pokemon trading card game,
Flesh and Blood.
so on. Magic's not exactly at the forefront unless your friends play it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So getting rid of the secondary market or moving so that's primarily Target, Amazon, so on, it's not going to sell nearly as much. I think
we were in the golden age for Magic in the last like 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where Magic was the king of games. It was the best card game. I think we're looking at Rome falling, but the Romans haven't seen the fires yet.
It's definitely, the barbarians are at the gates.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like D&D too, right?
Mhm.
Because D&D was pretty big when it first came out back in like the 50s, 60s,
70s.
40s, 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
You say 40s?
No, I don't know. I don't know where it was. I just know it was mid 1900s.
D&D is a predominantly boomer game.
Yeah, but with the acknowledgement to like Critical Role and people streaming it and 5e and so on, it kind of did a resurgence in the last 5 years.
I mean, the
6
Satanic
years.
Panic of the 80s didn't really help.
No, it definitely did not. Right next to the Stairway to Heaven, Devil song. But I think we get the point that without your friends and without the secondary market, pretty much all of Wizards of the Coast's games are not going to do nearly as well.
Yeah, their IPs need people. They want to keep pushing product. They want to see what the limit is. But the moment you push the limits is the moment you lose people. And people are what makes games and stories grand. Comic books grow, but the comic stories that we tell over time, these companies don't see the fact that these stories are stories that will live on forever, but you will kill the medium in which they are portrayed. But they'll we'll sell you a monthly subscription. That's not something that's not the thing that made it grow. I mean, everyone's throwing AI into everything, and it kind of drives me insane. But you can't make AI magic cards and then sell them to everyone. It's this AI ruined the metric of the game.
Yeah.
So you just said AI magic cards, and I immediately thought of the possibility of Wizards of the Coast was using not ChatGPT, but one of the art ones just to make card art.
Yeah.
Just so they increase profit margins more.
I got a whole either secret layer or set that's mini set for AI art.
So.
Oh my god! I just got a 1,000-yard stare.
Own AI art yet?
Yeah.
So since you can't own it, they can't put it on their cards, and if they put it on their cards, they won't own the cards.
Good.
So there's a big reason why they haven't done it yet, but there were talks of it at Hasbro.
Oh my god! If they go to AI art, I'm no longer buying.
We gotta hydrate.
No.
Yeah, hydration's important.
Done.
Look,
hydrating with coffee.
On this point, I think we need to move off Magic a little bit and move into the real world. Jake, time for your airsoft rant.
All right, cool. Hey guys, do you like
people?
Okay, this is not extremely scripted.
Okay, my bad.
Look, we need to hydrate, buddy. You need to give a minute, breathe it in, figure out where you're gonna go with this.
Yeah, I know.
Let me target you with a question.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
It's rolling into it.
All right, go ahead.
Hey everybody, do you like Call of Duty, Halo, any other FPS?
Not lately, no.
Yeah, no.
Okay, Jesse. All right. So, do you like the idea and concept of those games?
Also not.
Do you like the great outdoors?
I do like.
Fucking hell no!
I do like.
Okay.
Outside.
Then you might like Airsoft, also known as FPS LARPing to me. It is probably the second. Yeah, it's definitely the second most expensive thing hobby that I do now.
What's your first
World of War
most?
Tanks.
No.
Played that in a long time.
I'm lumping that into gaming, so therefore gaming is the most expensive.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Magic the Gathering's third, but this is definitely second. But
I think Magic the Gathering is rapidly approaching your first place slot.
It's not. I'm making sure it doesn't.
Most of your video game expenses are older now. It's not like you're going around, new World of Tanks released another new tank. Let me just throw another $50 at this game to get this premium tank. That's cool.
No, but Jake has 4 M4s, so.
Also, to be fair, I cut Jake a pretty decent deal on Magic cards most of the time.
Yes, there's also that. But the other thing is, I have currently, right next to me, a roundabout 3-foot long airsoft gun that was about $600.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're pretty expensive.
One of my Magic decks.
Oh yeah, no, it's nuts. But then you also get to go to these cool spots. Like the local one that we have is a scrapyard, or was a scrapyard. They haven't opened up in a while, but recently I played at a prison. And you get to go and you get to essentially fire little plastic BBs at people, or in my case, get blown up by little firecrackers over and over again in a hallway.
Right.
And it's
because they
really
have
fun. I
different
should take
names.
I should take Tim and Tony next time that there's a local one. We can go out and play. Tony, I know I give you that pistol. I don't know if you still have it.
It's
He does.
currently sitting in my couch. I had to hide it for a day, but I know where it is.
Okay. I mean, next time there's a local one, we can go out and play. And I'm sure I definitely have enough toys for everybody to play with. But a small. So I want to talk about primarily two things here. One is more how people see it, because obviously, well, like I said earlier, I see it as a LARP thing. There are some people who play this who play it like they are in the real military, and it is the funniest thing to watch.
So
I don't know if anybody.
let me spin off from that. So you
Yeah.
have some tryhards.
Yes.
It's to say tryhards is kind of underselling it.
Neckbeards.
Yes.
Yeah,
Gentlemen of class.
I know Jesse can talk about this a little bit, but there will be some times where you go and there will be people who do like speeches before games.
You can smell their
and
fedoras.
stuff like that. Smell the fedoras, smell the you can already hear them saying, I would have totally went to the military, but I would have mouthed off to the drill instructor. Before they say it. Like, you know, it's on the tip of their tongue and they're looking at you
I did work
and
at a
without
hobby
saying anything
shop.
else. Yes.
Yeah,
But-
I can feel that. That's some. I mean, there are a lot of wizards who play Magic the Gathering and D&D that would totally
Yeah.
have signed up for the Wizard Academy if they could.
Yep.
Right.
Let me
So
tell you, I would have signed up for the military too, but I would have mouthed off the drill. Yeah, no, okay.
yeah. I'm going to pose a quick question to you and Tony and Tim real quick. If I were to tell you that I go sometimes on weekends out into the forest to play with fake guns and stuff like that, would you think that I am taking it extremely seriously?
Knowing you, I'm gonna say no, because I think that
Okay.
you enjoy yourself and you like the fact that it gets you out of the house and to new environments.
And I'm going to counter. Well, not counter. I'm going to say no as well, simply because you purposely worded it to make it sound very.
Yeah, I was kind of leading. It was a leading question. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, Tim is metagaming it. We still gotta go for Jesse's vote on this one.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna rule him guilty. 3
Uh,
years in jail.
I'm not unbiased enough to weigh in on that part.
Yeah, you're right. He would just call
Yeah.
you. He'd call you a
Go
miscreant.
out into the woods and play with guns and shoot people.
I don't know that
Yeah.
that was probably the best wording.
I said with BBs.
with
Oh,
BBs.
I
It's
didn't
the
hear
same way as that you
didn't
can
hear
say in
that.
Minecraft after stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you can't anymore because somebody got arrested for that.
Also, no homo too.
Yeah.
Get up afterwards and then you high five unless they're try hard, in which case they yell at you.
Scream and yell and try to fight you.
Oh yeah,
I find-
the best part is when someone gets hit and gets so upset they try to start a physical fight.
It's so funny to watch.
They get so upset. An adult is angry that they got hit in a fake game where you're LARPing a soldier, and so they try to punch someone in the face.
As the group, the friend of the group who rages the most, it is the funniest thing to see somebody, and this is the best way to put it, rage at a video game in real life.
It is
With a real
that's
nice
exactly what it is.
It's so funny to watch. And I say this knowing full well that I rage at video games and that I look ridiculous while doing it. But seeing it happen in person in a field with like is an age range
What is a fake
of
castle made of plywood.
You're I'm
what
the
it
king. You can't shoot me.
That's exactly what it is. You can't the whole shoot me through the window.
That's it. It's literally like no, I'm a level 20 paladin and I have immunity. Like, no,
have
I
a
shot you
force
with a
field.
BB.
I have a force field.
But yeah,
That's
I
what
just
it is. I
I-
have a force field. You can't shoot me.
I'm a monk and I have catch
I
Catch
died.
projectiles.
yeah.
Yeah, I can
It's a
I can
dumb-
roll a d8 and reduce the damage your projectile would deal, and if I can reduce it to 0, I can throw it back at you.
Yeah, did you know that I actually have this secret thing from my adventure league that gives me bonuses to this?
It's so
I-
ridiculous that people take it that seriously.
I love
I
it.
get taking it seriously because I'm part of an actual team. They take it seriously to the point that they view it as a sport and they try to win, which is the point. You want to win the game when you're there. But
Yeah,
they don't
there's-
take it seriously from the standpoint of we're a military unit. Everyone has a rank and there's a chain of command and you gotta no.
There
No,
was
we just
I'm
want to win and we try to work together to win, but also
Winning makes me feel good because I
Fair.
get dopamine, and losing does not give me that dopamine. But it is not
It-
my
like-
only source of dopamine.
I'm not
like,
a
even-
competitive person, so I'm just there to have a good time.
yeah, like so I like in games and stuff like that. I'm competitive, but like going to like airsoft games, just the idea of winning like local, like oh I won that firefight, or I cleared out that building. I'm doing good. That's enough to do. I don't have to win the full match. But
As long as you have a good moment.
oh yeah, no, good moments, even just funny stuff. Like the prison game that I went to. I got to touch on another thing after this regarding the prison game. But there was a point where I ran into a cell block on this thing and got shot, and then promptly for the next, because you have to wait 5 minutes before you can get up to walk away and go to respawn.
I'm aware.
Within that span of 5 minutes, I got hit by about 7 grenades. So I had to basically roll around and try to cover my ears every time I saw a little baseball-sized firecracker roll in. My brother's actually got a crazy video about it. I have to send you guys
That's great.
when he gets to edit it. But it's so fun. Like even in that, like I like in like Call of Duty, I'll get mad that I get blown up. But that is so funny, just on the idea that I am just in the worst possible spot. So that was actually a highlight of the entire.
Is it like the time where we gave Rodriguez a grenade to beam across his face? Like we're at Fantasy Island, which is a closed down local theme park, and me, Jake, one of my squad mates, and our buddy Rodriguez all run up, take cover against a building, and we're like, all right, there's some guys shooting at us from across this street. Who has the best arm? Try to throw a grenade into the building, and Rodriguez has the best arm.
Oh,
Out of
absolutely,
all of us. Like, he comes
absolutely.
behind, he's great. So he give him the grenade. He pops it, the pin, and he goes to throw it. And as he does it, I have like a good view of this, and I look at him and I see him strike the post to throw it, and time slows down for a minute. While I slowly pan my eyes up to the roof that's right above him. And the only thought that goes through my mind is, what if he hits the ceiling? And then he immediately throws it, bounces off the ceiling, and lands right next to all of us, and just plasters us with BBs.
I've seen this
It
happen
was
in Fallout
frozen
before.
peas, frozen peas, and it
And it was. We're all laughing, but Rodriguez was so upset.
I've seen this.
I
in
feel so
Fallout
bad that he
before.
was so upset by it. But
It was so funny. I just had that. I had the time to process. He's gonna hit the ceiling.
I mean,
He
when your
did.
VATS fails that badly, you just kind of got to roll with it.
Yep.
He looked
All right.
so upset when it hit the ground behind him.
but,
His shoulder
yeah.
just.
That
and
was
he
a defensive
fell while
posture,
throwing
okay?
it too. It was so depressing. It was like a nat 1 on something.
Oh my
Way to
God.
go! You took out your teammates and you tripped. Way to go! But yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's I'd say less competitive than paintball, only because
Oh.
paintball is like, don't get me wrong. There's casual paintball fields and stuff like that, and there are videos that I see of like the spinner capture the flag that looks so fun. But
it's
it is
also more of an arcade game situation.
yeah, it's more Call of Duty compared the CS:GO, which I guess is the best way to say it.
I'm a big
Or
fan of Battlefield personally, so
It is far more, yeah. Battlefield
Those
without
Sims-
vehicles.
Go to those Sims which tend to be more like Battlefield without vehicles. Yeah,
Yeah, but
sometimes
no,
there
it
are vehicles.
yeah, it's so fun. I will take anybody who wants to go to a game sooner or later.
So-
Hopefully,
rope this back into fantasy stuff. It would fall into nerddom of people who like to reenact things as well.
And
Yeah.
and
Oh,
pretend
yeah.
to be something that they're not. So
oh, absolutely, it's an entire LARP.
live
First of all,
action role playing.
in what is it, 2 weeks roundabout, I'm going to one, and I had to sign up for what class I want to play, like in Battlefield. And I'm going to be the LMG guy, which means I get to run around with a 16-pound rifle and sweat and want to like fall down so many times. It's going to be great.
I like this.
I'm going to love it. Yes.
All
But
right.
there are so many different things, and the last part I want to talk about with this is because it's a fun game, there have been a lot of laws that are coming in now, especially in New York State, that now anytime I order something from the one site that I get a lot of almost all of my airsoft stuff from, Evike, not sponsored, just like them, I have to
You
check
have
a
to check
box. I have to check a box that says that I'm using it for a theatrical performance. Because
Which
in New
isn't
York State,
untrue, because people do record them.
yes, but in New York State, unless it is brightly colored with a orange tip and orange barrel, bright like Nerf gun colors, you can't have it anywhere but your house or wherever you're doing the quote unquote theatrical performance. And it's gotten to a point where, like, I remember seeing a post by the New York City Police Department saying that it's not a toy, or that these weapons, like, I think they were using an Orbeez thing, which is like a little like splat ball.
I know what Orbeez are.
Yeah, it's a little splat ball gun.
You
And
hydrate them
there's
with water.
yeah, and they said this is not a toy, this is an actual weapon. It can leave a welt. And it's like,
they're more fun than a pillow fight.
yeah. But I remember seeing that, and I gotta say, do you guys think it's a reasonable response for like these states to go, yeah, we can't have people going around with these airsoft guns because they're actual weapons? I personally think it's ridiculous.
I think that it is important. I think what the issue is that people treat airsoft guns like they are just toys when they do not look like them at all.
So let's take this as a last subject on this discussion, because this is going to get into some tricky stuff, and we're not legal experts.
Yeah, this was my last point on this, but yeah.
Tim, what's your opinion?
Opinion.
I think it's a very difficult area where you start getting into semantics of law. I do kind of agree, because they aren't just toys. And the more difficult portion of it is how people act like they're toys in public and then end up that they are pretty close to the real equivalent and wind up getting shot.
Yeah, you cannot tell unless you are physically looking at the components of the airsoft gun.
And to say that they can only be toys, and that say even the police should be like, there's orange. At what point can I just paint a real gun orange?
I mean, Tim, with your if you don't mind me mentioning this, your military background, you understand that, like, guns are scary. They can do a lot.
Yeah.
Like, even simple, like, and I say simple as like an assault rifle is a simple piece of machine. It's not, but like, yes,
We'll refer to this. I have a bolt action rifle right here. They require no electronic pieces, anything along those lines, and yet this thing is still just as dangerous as anything else you can put into anybody's hand.
Exactly. And like, I understand guns are part of our history as a country, but so is, like, the number one killer of children right now is guns. Not cancer, not like cars, not like sleeping at home, not poisoning. Literally, an object that we've had in our country that we, for some reason, can't read the Second Amendment where it says well regulated. Um, there's a lot of things that go into this, and I think airsoft is a cool experience. I think it's a cool hobby, and it can get really drastic really quickly. And I like the fantasy aspect of it, and I love the fact that you have something that you can do with your friends, Jake. And I'm more than willing to go with you to LARP with you because I love LARPing entirely. But when we get into the law aspect of this, I feel like there's like most good things in life, there will be a bad actor or two. I mean, I've seen people flip tables. I've seen people run out of D&D sessions. I've seen people get in fist fight over Halo. People are passionate, and it's a beautiful thing. At a certain point, I'm scared for your hobby to be less accessible, and that's also kind of why I like Magic prices dropping, and I like people being able to enjoy these things.
So actually, on the similar, still technically the same topic of airsoft.
Yeah.
When I was in Japan, so firearms in Japan are illegal completely.
In Japan.
The only way to own a firearm is if you are a documented hunter and you have to renew your license every single year, and you can only have a bolt hunting rifle.
So like an inspection for a car in New York State.
Exactly. Every single year, renew it, so on. Airsoft is actually pretty big in Japan. Mainly because there's nothing that you can really mistake it for. They have airsoft arenas inside of malls. It's just off of an airsoft store within the mall.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get away from this topic, Tim. I think we need a palate cleanser. What do you got for the table today?
So looking back at something that came out back in 2015, 2016, Pokemon Go. Phone app on your phone. Nice and enjoyable. At the time, it was just a way to encourage you to get outside, do some physical activity, and enjoy a hobby that a lot of people at the time or in their childhoods wanted. Pokemon hunting.
One of the most incredible things that had happened during that summer.
Yeah, pretty much, because not much else happened that summer, did they? I was in Yokosuka, Japan at the time.
God damn it, Japan.
And I know. Well, my bad. I enjoyed that country way too much.
I mean, it's more jealousy. Keep going. I'm sorry.
But recently, as I got out of the military and I started doing college full time, I decided walking around when I was in the military, notorious thing as one of my active duty friends has discovered as they just recently downloaded it, military bases are relatively deserts for Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Because the government doesn't want too much of the tracking stuff on their bases. Right?
I heard reports during the time where they had a Pokemon stop on a military base and someone almost got blown up.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been propaganda. Keep going.
I believe that's propaganda, but it could have. We were told to be careful about it when it came out because using the GPS features, we don't really want them doing that on a military base. But we weren't outright forbidden from having it, and there were Pokestops on the base. It wasn't worth using it on the base either because there was just nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Flip side to the situations in like a university, that's still a hotbed for Pokemon, which I find very encouraging. 7 years later, roughly? Do you guys think that it should continue? Do you think that Niantic, the company that runs it, should continue investing in it, doing more events, trying to encourage younger people and people who grew up with Pokemon to continue to get out there and get some exercise and enjoy their time catching Pokemon?
Absolutely.
I'm a firm agree on a yes, but at what cost? And I'll elaborate that later.
I think it's good they're having people get out there. I just don't care much about Pokemon, so.
I respect.
Yeah.
Exercise good. Pokemon, I could take it or leave it.
Well, so actually on that note, Pokemon Go is not the only phone app that's like that. There's a Jurassic Park one that came out roughly when Jurassic World, the video game, came out. The PC one.
There's also Ingress, which was the original game that started their mapping software.
Mm-hmm. And then there's
Ingress
also a Hogwarts one
and
that was especially big when what was the Mythical Beasts and Where to Find Them when that movie
Fantastic
came out.
Beasts.
That's it.
Look, I just don't play games on my phone, so I'm
Yeah.
not really
I mean,
a
personally,
Yeah.
heavy hitter on this topic.
I love phone games because it allows accessibility and entertainment for people. And I'm a
Mhm.
firm believer that people need entertainment so they won't lose their damn minds.
I agree with that.
Pokemon Go, revolutionary, got people outside, got kids exercise. Those are all good things. I am down for. Problems I've had with Pokemon Go are numerous. Battery life draining, killing phones.
Fucking hard.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I really like the concept of it. I don't think so. I don't know. Like people getting robbed playing Pokemon Go, sure, whatever it happens. People get robbed. People going
In
outside
general.
having a good time. That's great. Uh, I don't like GPS, but also it's a government program, so it helps people. God, I
He has
don't.
so much more to talk about than he thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot to talk about Pokemon Go. I don't think it should be as heavily monetized.
Okay, I agree with that. The biggest dilemma I had, especially when I was out of country, was the only way to get items is Pokestops. You have a very limited number of item slots. I think it's 300 maybe, and you find that rapidly filled. The only way to get more, either A, ditch your shit, catch a shit ton of Pokemon and burn yourself out of Pokeballs, or pay to upgrade your bag.
Yeah.
And this is kind of it's the same case for Pokemon. There are some 700, 800 Pokemon in the game on the phone version now, and your maximum Pokemon capacity is like 250 to 300. So if you want to keep one of every Pokemon, then you can't get. You're going to run out of space, basically, which I think I'm actually rapidly approaching myself is running out of space.
Me too.
So I find that annoying. The only plus is that you can get their monetization Pokecoins by using gyms and putting your Pokemon in them.
Which is participation. So that kind of
Yeah.
gets into monetizing games. I mean, League of Legends is a historically well-known game that's
Oh,
free
let's
to.
not talk
I
about that.
I'm bringing it up right now because it's free to play, but but the characters you could pay real money to speed up the process, or you can spend hundreds of hours playing the game to unlock characters.
Yes,
Man, that sounds like
you can unlock characters via in-game currency without spending anything, and then they have skins which are monetized horrifically.
Yeah.
I wonder who else has had issues with monetization in video games that are free to play.
Fucking
Jacob.
all of them.
I don't know.
Shut up.
That almost
Fucking
sounds
don't-
like World of Tanks and War Thunder. How much have I spent in either? I don't want to
see,
think about it.
I mean, the people who originally made loot boxes and pay-to-win games was Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
So we're kind of wrapping everything into this because at what point in time do they need to increase prices for this game that's a free mobile game, but it's also targeting children? I think it's morally wrong, and I like Pokemon Go, and I like that Pokemon Go gets people to do things. But
Children don't understand money,
kids don't have money.
nor do they understand what it means if they spend their parents' money.
Yeah.
They don't understand where that money comes from. Which, oh my god, I sound like my dad.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah, everyone does.
I already sound like my dad, but that's just something he used to tell me.
How you doing, Earl?
Growing up currently. Not me. Hey, he threw up today.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Earl.
Fun little thing. There used to be this. I don't see it anymore, but there used to be on the note of League of Legends. There used to be a thing in their support page which was how much money have I spent in League of Legends, and you could look up to see how much money you've dumped into the game on skins or champions and so on.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
mean.
I mean,
That is
Let me
mean.
tell you, that is a traumatic thing to look at sometimes.
yeah, Pokemon Go, I feel like if you can play the free model, which is not something children completely understand, I think it's fine. I think it's overall a good experience where you can enjoy the game and have fun. If we get into anything that's the details of the game, I think that they should, at this point in time, from the amount of money they made from it, they should just let it go into society
Hmm.
and just kind of open it up, make it open source. People can run their own servers, yada 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 yada. But Pokemon is the world's biggest product, like thing.
It is. It's so huge.
Yeah. Niantic wants money. Pokemon
Yes.
Go and our society doesn't get to this point where we let things go. We don't let it evolve on its own, grow itself.
Or die.
Or die. Just let it die.
Just let it die.
I'd love if a game just. So, I always say that I wish that the Marvel Cinematic Universe would have ended with what was it, Endgame, with Thanos just going, "I'm inevitable," and just snapping and fade to black right there.
Yeah.
I knew it would never happen because it ends up killing a giant cash cow. But
it's good.
God, it'd have been such a good end. Like, everybody would have been shocked in the theater. People would have been mad about it initially, but you'd go, "That was actually a really cool way to end the series." I get that they want it's a kid's story, so bad guy should win, or bad guy shouldn't win. Should be good over evil, triumph, yada yada. But just the idea that's evolved into the idea of just a company just stopping something to pursue something else. Like, just, okay, the MCU's done, we're gonna have something else, would be so refreshing.
At what point in time does milking the cow make the cow's udders useless?
Yeah, milk it. When do you milk it dry?
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of wanted to jump onto that as well, real quick. Yeah, like leave Shepard alone. At what point do we get into so looking at like remasters and beating the dead cow? I'm going to use the easiest one, Skyrim, which has had 3 different versions released in the last 10 years.
Water.
Water, yeah.
Welcome back, Max.
No!
More water.
I'm out of drink. Oh no.
But I wanted to
Time to get
see
some
like
freshly squeezed.
what are our so I obviously I got
Yeah.
Tony's opinion already here, but
Sorry, but I mean, we're
What's-
still talking about Pokemon. The overarching story is Pokemon and
yeah,
Pokemon
well,
Go.
still sitting on Pokemon, right? Because first of all, fucking for like the last 4 generations of Pokemon, I have been disappointed excessively. The bottom of the barrel has been scraped dry. We're into the ground below the barrel now. The remaster baseball bat that people have whacked us with. Obviously, a lot of the cases is like, well, it was originally made for a console that's no longer produced and you can't get it anymore. For example, Pokemon Pearl and Diamond, because I'm holding Brilliant or Shining Pearl in my hand right now. This was remastered of the 4th generation Pokemon game. This was made for the Nintendo Switch. The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were originally for Nintendo DS.
Rip the DS shop.
Yeah, right?
Rest in peace.
But I know that it's primarily companies trying to grasp onto the nostalgia trip that people have to play games that they played 10, 20 years ago. But when do we draw the line? When are we kind of done with letting companies monetize your childhood?
So, I think Pokemon. Pokemon is our childhood.
Yep.
And it was bought for us by our parents, except for my nephew, who my sister thinks Pokemon's the devil. Moving past this, so Pokemon is our nostalgia. We can love it. We can play it. We can go buy a cartridge. We have emulators.
Yep.
We're looking at society hitting the point where we can just play those games. And I think some remasters are value. Diamond and Pearl, I don't think needed a remaster. Big shock here. I think it was cool. It was still connected to the shop. It could still support it. I think they only remastered it so they could make money because they took down the DS connectivity to Pokemon Home.
Yeah. Then they also made it so that you have to do a Switch subscription for
Nintendo has been doing this forever, and in Japan it flies. But the problem is, in Japan there are no children coming. They have low birth rates. They have a lot of issues with that. So they're going to have to start selling to Americans because Americans still have a 1-to-1 ratio until the next 10 years when there's a bunch of dead old people. Let's not get into that. Pokemon Go targets children, but the people who can play it are adults. So is it a children's game or is it an adult game?
That is a good question. And one that needs further thought down the line.
It does. Let's take everything, mush all our ideas together, and move to the final subject of this podcast, and it's conventions. Conventions are some of our favorite things and some of our worst favorite things, and we like to look at them objectively and for fun. I recently went to a con this weekend, and I have a lot of opinions about it, but I'm going to ask the two guests that we have today, well, I guess Jesse's not a guest, he's just a co-host, how they think their expectations of a con. I know you haven't been to a lot of cons yourselves, but how do you feel about cons? What do you think they should entail? And what are your expectations for them in the future? Because I assume you're going to go to a con eventually.
Yeah, I'll probably go to one sooner or later. I went to one.
That was so uncommittal.
Yeah, I know it. It was pretty uncommittal, but you don't have to mock me for it. But
yeah, I'll
so
totally go do the thing I don't want to do with you guys. Yeah.
well, it's just I don't like the cosplay part. I can't.
Well, no one says that you're required to cosplay to go to a con.
No, but part of me also feels like I need to. It's like I'm going to a place with like, oh, this place has a dress code, but you don't have to dress up, and it's like everybody else is in buttoned-up shirts, and I'm just there in a t-shirt. Like,
More fun.
I mean, in a lot of situations, you go into a place thinking like, if I'm dressed up in this costume, I'm going to be ridiculed. But at a con, it's kind of the opposite. If I come there in my regular clothes, I'm going to be ridiculed.
No,
Yeah.
It's just more fun if you go in costume.
It's significantly
but
more
it's
fun.
not bad if you go in out of costume. Then you just go take pictures with the people who are in costume.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. That's...
No, the one I went to with you, Jesse, and Andrew years ago. I can't even remember what year that was, but that was fun.
I did for it. I don't even know what outfit I was in for it. So
You were. I almost said Deadpool, but I meant the other guy, Slade Wilson. Yeah, this is the last year I think you were as him, or at least the one last I remember seeing you as him. But yeah, Andrew was Scarecrow, I think.
That makes sense.
You came to that one.
Yeah, but when we went to that was fun. I remember thinking this is the most amount of furries I've ever seen in a small spot, and I feel slightly terrified.
Are you afraid of furries?
He is.
It's more the soulless, lifeless eyes staring back at me from the fursuits, but
so just like you looking in a mirror. What's your point?
Reasonable. That's not unreasonable with that bit, at least.
like, have you ever seen that the comic of like it's like the wolf looking at the pug, and then like the wolf is thinking this is a
That's what I've evolved into.
It's more like, oh my god, this is a gross transformation, like a disfigured version of what I'm looking at. It's kind of like that with a furry, but it's more like.
So you're the pug in this situation?
Yes.
I'm more the.
Yes, he is 100%.
Are you about to call yourself a wolf?
No, I'm not calling myself a wolf.
I'm
not referring to myself as a wolf.
Is that your persona? Is this what we have to get into?
He's a pug?
No.
He's a
His
pug.
persona is a pug.
Listen. If somebody says that my persona is a bug, I'm gonna throw hands.
Hold on, let me get the picture of a pug up real quick, and we can compare. No, look, that's not the point here. This isn't the point here. So you liked the experience because you experienced something new.
Yeah, it was cool. I like seeing all like the crazy costumes and stuff yes, even the furry ones because it's just the amount of effort that went into making them.
Yeah,
Even if it wasn't directly into the person who was in the fursuit.
well, furries commit. That the thing is, like, a con people, you can send your like freak flag fly, and you can enjoy the time, and you can kind of like bathe in the things that you find to be entertaining.
Yeah.
The beauty of spending time with other people who you don't have to hide your obsessions with, and you will find someone who has a similar hobby or interest. I mean, that's what people enjoy. I mean, that's why people go to Magic tournaments. It's why people play Pokemon Go in groups. It's why people go have LARPing events.
Yeah.
What do you
Oh
expect
yeah.
from a con?
Honestly, I think all expectations were kind of met when I went to the UBCon that we went to. Seeing people in all their favorite costumes, like their media, being in character, that was kind of crazy, especially for like ones that I knew and like the person selling themselves as. There's always the guy who's playing Deadpool who's acting as close to Deadpool as you can get.
Who usually winds up
But
being a problem in my experience, but
yeah, sooner or later, I'd imagine. But the the markets that they have are usually nuts. I've
artist alleys.
artist alleys,
Vendors shops.
artist alleys, vendor shops. Those are always crazy. Some of the events are pretty really cool. Some are weird. I remember seeing a lot that were just okay. This is kind of a weird thing to have a group of people do. I can kind of see why it would be for some people, but at the same time, but it kind of checked all boxes of what I thought a con would be.
No, that's perfect. Tim,
Yeah.
do you have similar feelings about this?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think that the true value of a con is getting to socialize with people of similar hobbies. Because no matter what hobby you kind of have, if it's a nerdy hobby, it's going to be at a convention.
But they would like schedule events for each nerdy hobby so people can meet up and participate in these things.
Exactly, yeah.
So, the con we went to this weekend was the
Garbage.
opposite of everything you guys dreamt of in a con.
It was horrible.
So, their event
It wasn't finished.
their event planning was rough. They didn't have a panel for everything, which you can't have a panel for everything. But there wasn't like a D&D meetup or Magic tournament or um, guys who like to LARP. They didn't have like a cosplay repair section, which there's a lot of cosplay. They didn't advertise their cosplay event well, where you could even join in the cosplay event before like trying to do a skit. And I feel bad for the voice actress. She was like shoved by the bathrooms by the ticket booth, where I didn't even know that she was an important person.
Who was the
Yeah,
voice
she was not
actress?
advertised at all.
Yeah,
Well,
like there was maybe one post that she was going to be there, and they
the
just
day
like
before.
and they shoved her at like the worst position. Um, it the vendors, a lot of them are the same vendors that they had last year. But even then, like some vendors showed up the next day, so they didn't show up Friday. So there was a bunch of empty tables. A bunch of vendors were mixed in with the artist alley, and artist alley was mixed with the vendors, so they didn't have like a good division between products, which is fine because some artists like to have the busyness of the sales floor. But then all the vendors were just the same thing. Like I walk past and it's like, oh, these are all the same board games that guy has. Oh, how much are these? Oh, these are more expensive than that guy. That guy realized that they were more expensive. He changed the prices. It's like,
Or you walk in and it's like, there's a Heart of the Game booth. I could just go to their store next weekend when their prices go back down because they've upped them for the con.
yeah, like the upcharge is real. The demographic of just supporting the con, like, hey guys, maybe you should have like a line prepared, like get those rope off things. And then the moment I show up, they start putting it up, and the line's already like way out the door. And trying to corral 200 people is not easy. I mean, it was just, it was sad. It was really sad. I mean, the Nerf War is always a good event, but they didn't have any way of like setting it up, monetizing it, figuring out how to do teams well. So every con always has a rave. At the D&D event, I ran into my buddy. I checked on the rave, and the rave had the lights on.
Yeah, a rave has the lights on. That's not a rave.
That's
Uh,
weird.
Oh, that's so weird.
It was a huge disappointment from where UBCon was, because UBCon was one of my first cons, and the first time I went was amazing. There were so many people, everything was well organized.
There was
The
always
second
something
time
to
was
do.
the same. Even when I did Spider-Man, there was a lot of stuff to do, and it was still fun. But then, like, the past 2 years have been on such a. The past year was not great. It wasn't this bad, but yeah, this year I had a good time, but that's because I enjoy being around the other cosplayers and interacting like that.
Yeah, but that was it. I mean, for like people like Jake and Tim, I don't know if you cosplay, but there's nothing for you guys to do. You walk in, and like none of the panels had meetups. There was like maybe something starting at the beginning of con, but if you didn't get there on time, there was nothing. And the biggest event, and this is something I am so happy for Western New York Gaming to do. They had D&D all con. It was always something to do with D&D, but they had some of the smallest rooms, and they had no like help from the people who work there. It's yeah, I they didn't plan the convention well, but it's not about what they can pay for. It's about how they plan. So the con was supposed to start planning when minicon was over. So there's two cons. There's a minicon and a regular con, and minicon is in December or October, and then you start planning your con from there. The problem I've seen with this convention is they didn't start selling tickets for this con until the beginning of the month.
So it almost sounds like it was like a, oh yeah, we have to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, you make pre-sale tickets available 3 months ahead so you can get money in your pocket, so you can pay for planning and event fees and anything you need to do for money wise. And people
Yes.
pre-registration so early. If you have people who are like a month before the event, you're like, hey, by the way, there's an event this month. It's like, oh, I don't have money. It's because I didn't plan for this. If you don't have enough prep time, that's why concerts like big concerts go, hey, this is our concerts for the year. Those pre-sale tickets carry the structure of the business to what you need it to be.
I think a really good example of how bad this con was as you were walking around and talking with people, you heard over and over how people weren't coming back next year. Which is really sad to hear, because this is like one of the biggest, or one of the main cons held locally, and it's just person after person saying, yeah, this is a mess. I'm not coming back for next year
Yeah.
because I don't want to be let down again.
The badges were paper, and there were so many ripped badges. People were going up to the badge stand every hour, the same people.
To get new ones, which they usually put them in like a plastic lamination thing for you. Like, it's usually really nicely done, and then it's
But then you got to pull
like
your
prop
badge.
check was one guy.
Yeah, you got to pull your badge out every time you enter a room so you can prove that you purchased access to these areas. But people were walking in rooms and they're like, "Hey, where's your badge?" "Oh, it's just on my shirt." "Oh, too bad. Go get another one." And people would just leave the con.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I would like to do a con eventually, maybe even open up my own con, which would be really cool because like I feel like I would do really good for a while for it. You know, like maybe 20 years down the line my life kind of just falls apart. But I
And
mean
you
like
start running conventions.
yeah, in the beginning my cons will be great. I mean, this convention's been around for 24 years. And that's 24 years. It's was it XX hold on, where's my con ticket? There it is. XX 4. So yeah, it's 24 years this con's been around. Longer than some people have been alive. And it's just
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're okay.
Uh, I was
It
gonna
is
say,
a skeleton of a convention. It's a skeleton of what it used to be. Absolutely.
so next year, I guess on Convention 25, you guys gonna try to sign up to help if you can? I don't know. I don't know what UB does for con.
No, you have
So
to be on part. You have to be on the committee
Yeah.
to be
And-
part of
and
the
then-
planning.
and then therefore have to be part of UB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Nah.
have to have some sort of job there. You can be a volunteer, but if you're a volunteer, you have to like you're just going to be working it. You're not even going to be like going for it. The benefits of working at con is you work one of the days, you have off for the other 2 days. That's how cons work. That's just how they work. But they made an announcement on their Facebook page and they were like, "Hey, by the way, we're not selling tickets on Sunday. We're out of tickets." And I was like, "Oh, it's Sunday. Why would you even sell tickets for this day?" Like, cool, thanks for the announcement. You're not selling tickets on a Sunday. You're selling tickets 3 months ahead. You're selling tickets on the day of Friday or Saturday, but you're not selling tickets on Sunday. If someone's paying to go on Sunday, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there was still nothing to do. Like, there was a game room, cool, but like, people walk in the game room and they just don't have anybody to like, hey, the people playing Magic over there, people doing this. It's like, you need to have structure. I get that you want to have a cool event, but these are introverted, extroverted nerds who are trying to do stuff and they don't know what's going on. You need to hold their hand 60 to 70% of the time so you can make sure that they feel comfortable so they'll come back. If they wanted to kill the con, this was a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
It
So
feels,
the point is,
yeah.
we're going to different cons from now on.
Yeah.
I was say you guys want to try to go to like New York City Comic Con next year or something like that.
Well, Fan Expo's coming up, and I would love to do Fan Expo again. I've done it. It's in Toronto. It's phenomenal. It's the third largest convention in North America, and I've been there 3-4 times. I've been to New York once. I've been to San Francisco Comic Con. I mean, even Rochester Comic Con and Buffalo Comic Con aren't bad. The Niagara Falls Comic Con on the other side has Bruce Campbell, and I love Bruce Campbell.
I would need to get my passport situation sorted out, but I would do those. I would
And-
do the Toronto one.
And then later in the year, our friend Dylan, not Dylan, but Dylan,
Dylan,
he down in Atlanta, they have Dragon Con, which is just a huge convention.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I just want to do better conventions to have a like. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my opinion on this con is just incorrect. Maybe every con is like this, and I'm the one at fault. But I would like to have a better objective opinion what a good convention should look like.
Fair.
That being said, there were still nice things
Yeah.
about it. They were fun times. This was the most popular I've been at a con, personally speaking. There was a point where I was down in the main area, like the main lobby area, and for a solid 30 minutes, just picture after picture with people. They were just coming up over and over for like 30 minutes asking to take pictures. Me and a tech priest wound up just getting partnered up together. We took a picture together with one person, and then just over and over, people kept coming up to me and a tech priest and being like, "Can we get a picture with you two?" It's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's there every year. He's a really
Turning
nice
on
guy.
and off my lightsaber, just on and off and on and off, and every time I thought it was done, I turn it off, and then someone would come up. Can I take another one?
Yeah, it's-
Okay, back on.
that was really cool. Everyone likes Star Wars outfits, so it works out.
Star Wars group that I kept meeting up with, we had a good amount of fun together, where we wind up doing things as a group, and then other people just flocked around for pictures. So I personally had a good time doing that.
Yeah.
I would walk around just doing some laps throughout the building in the outfit, and it was entertaining to see people get startled when I turned a corner.
Yeah.
Because my costume is more on the intimidating side. I turn a corner walking down a hallway, and people jump or move out of the way. and then as I walk past, they're like, "That guy's fucking cool," and that's nice. That's like a nice part about it.
Yeah, that's the
It's
best
an
part
ego
about
boost.
dressing up. I mean, it was
That's
probably the
yeah,
most
that's why I like
popular you've been
dressing
in
up.
a while, so.
Absolutely has been.
I would say Jesse makes some crazy good costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Like like again, the one he helped Andrew, our buddy Andrew make.
I made both his costumes for both of the years, or 2 of the 3 years that he went, and I did them both last minute.
Yeah, the Scarecrow one
'Cause
was
he didn't
great.
plan it, because he didn't
Yeah.
plan them out right, and then suddenly I had to make samurai armor out of foam floor pads for him, and then Scarecrow shit. I had to make Scarecrow out of just burlap and a gas mask, and some
Yeah.
spray paint, and Home Depot rope.
I mean, to be
That and-
fair, that's a quality cosplay if it held together using all the basic materials of life.
It did. It did. I did get a weird flag on my search history having to look up how to tie a noose, but you know. Fun fact: the first search result is a suicide hotline. The second result is how to tie a noose.
That's interesting.
But yeah, that and your Slade one. I remember walking around when you were in your the Deathstroke suit and like having to like somebody would walk up and like, hey, can you take a picture? And I was designated camera guy,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, yeah, here.
I think it's beneficial that Jesse has a body of every main protagonist in fiction right now, so it works out for him really well.
I
Yeah,
can
so-
really easily just put a helmet on me and I'm anyone. As long as the protagonist is helmeted, I'm good.
So to wrap
Yeah.
this down, I do want to ask one question, and then we're just gonna do a closing section because we're running on an hour now. Before editing, running down from Tim to Jake to Jesse. Next con, if you want to do a con, what cosplay would you want to do? You may not be good at it. I just want to have like an idea.
A bot.
We're starting with Tim.
Well, so I want to do an ODST from Halo for the next con.
Ooh.
Jesse already has the helmet there, and I have the armor set right over here, so it's ready to do it whenever.
No, I have your armor set too.
Oh, yeah. I thought I still had that.
Nope,
Sweet.
I have both of the things.
So at some point during the summer, we're gonna get together and hopefully do it, but it'll take a bit.
I mean, you guys live right down the street from each other. You could do it at any time. No one's.
Yeah, but I might also be getting my shoulder surgery coming up here,
Oh,
so
yeah,
we'll see.
Hopefully it goes well. If you need help, let one of us know. Jake.
Part of me's always kind of wanted to do a Psycho from Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to be, it's a bit more physically fit, unless I want to look like a flabby psycho. But
I'm gonna explain.
I
This
feel
to
like
you
that one.
right now, buddy. It's your physical fitness is not going to be a concern at a con.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
I know
enough
it's
paint-
more of a self-image thing, and go.
with enough
I don't
body
want
paint,
my.
We can get you a six-pack.
Yeah, it's more. I just don't want to be like, hey, I'm shirtless.
Well, you could do what I did and just buy a shirt that's like a muscle
body
fit.
shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse, next convention or cosplay, what are you thinking?
Next convention, I don't know, but one of the next cosplays I do want to do besides ODST is probably Mandalorian. I've been planning outfits for a while, but I think I finally settled on one that I can do by myself and be happy about.
A Mandalorian or Mando?
A just random Mandalorian.
Like
I
it.
don't really. I like Pedro Pascal, but that's his armor. I just want my own set that I can put together. The thing about the Mandalorians is like armor that I like the most is that you can flavor it to yourself so easily.
I do like the
And
McDonald's
still-
Mandalorians.
It still looks so. It still can look in universe if that's what you're going for, but you can flavor it to yourself. So you can make it's a personalized cosplay that fits within the universe.
Yeah.
That's what I like. It's
Yeah.
just it's your thing, but it looks like it belongs.
You're reiterating, and I appreciate how committed you are to this.
I know. I keep going over that, but yeah. So probably, maybe I don't know, Mandalorian at some time.
I like it. It's
But I don't
beautiful
know.
and well said.
I'm super committed to.
I think you should do a Mandalorian that's hold on. I think you should do a Mandalorian whose armor is made out of magic cards.
That'd be funny.
That'd be really funny. But I don't
The
think it's
Mandalorian.
Only Black Lotus.
only Black Lotus.
I'm just
It's the Vescar of the Magic Universe.
yeah. It's just Black Lotus everywhere.
I think the next
That's
cosplay
my shoulder blade.
I'm personally gonna aim for is probably another One Piece character. I'm gonna aim for like Brook. He's a skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, make dumb jokes the whole time. I did Frankie at this con, and I think my Frankie cosplay turned out great, except for all the
You yelled
blew up
Supa
my
so
nose.
You should
You yelled Supa so much.
you could
Super.
would you be able to do red hair Shanks?
I am not that fit. I think Jesse could pull it off perfectly.
I don't know who that is.
He's got one arm. That's the first thing.
I still don't know who that is. Who? What's the name?
Red
Red
hair.
Red
arm
hair
Shanks.
Shanks.
Red hair, red arm.
Hair.
Red hair. Sorry. I gotta ban this person that popped up in chat real quick.
Yeah, the bot.
Yeah.
Red hair
I'll do it later.
Shanks. It is. I would have to get red hair.
We
You
could
could
do
just
that.
you could have spray on hair. My beard's not blue anymore, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Final statements
I would
for
totally
everything
against
overall.
If I was doing
No,
One Piece thing, I'd
yeah.
do it.
I think you could do it. I think we talked about a lot of cool stuff. I think that we should definitely do another event, local events, to see if we can sell merch.
You sell dice.
I got a new dice tower. I sold so much dice at this con. I guess my overall point is I appreciate this, and hopefully we can do another episode next week. 12 Sunday would be really cool. Maybe we can go over the interspecies lady. Oh, is it monster fucking, which is the topic that I've been meaning to bring up in one of
He
these
wants so
discussions.
badly.
I think it'd be great. I think we could talk about it for like 4 or 5 hours, but it really depends. Any
I'm just
closing
impressed
words,
by your commitment.
Nope.
Tim,
I got none this time.
Jake?
Don't forget to drink your water.
Hydration is important. Jesse?
Be good to each other.
Yeah. And if you've gotten this far into the thing, do the doodly do, follow, subscribe, share to your friends. This is like an hour and 40 minutes. We are intense into this podcast
It
situation.
was a long one.
This is going to be our official episode 6. I'm enjoying the whole rundown of this. I think it's nice to kind of have a breakdown with your friends about your costumes, cosplay, and if you have something to say or if you want to do anything, we'll have a Discord eventually, and Jesse will probably be the moderator.
We'll just move Spirit Hawk's Roost into the official Fantasy Soup one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I love you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.